Welcome to From the Editor with Larry Gordon, where newsmakers unpack the stories shaping the Jewish community.
Hi, everyone. It's a good day for you, I hope. This is Larry Gordon, coming to you, not from the offices of the Five Town Jewish Times, although every place we go is practically speaking, the office of the Five Towns Jewish Times. But this is our southern, our South and Southern Florida branch, so to speak, where we're spending at least parts of the winter. And I wanted to make it easy on you and on me. So we are co-hosted today by Mrs. Esther Gordon. And you know what? It's very important that we have this podcast with the two of us because we discuss so much of this stuff in the course of the day. And really, if we could have a camera crew, and a recording team like you guys was following us around all day, we would have a show every single day, practically speaking, I think. But what we're going to do today, Esther, what we're going to do today
Yes.
is we're going to talk about a couple of articles that appear in this week's Five Town Jewish Times. Of course, the paper comes out. We're recording on a Wednesday, what's today? January 7th. We're recording on January 7th. And this stuff, like I always say, all the podcasts, this stuff has nitzchias. It is eternally out there to be listened to. So whatever we say needs to be relevant to, a general period of time, at least, somewhat of a general period of time. Anyway, it was your idea to go through the newspaper, right?
Absolutely.
And so tell me about the idea was and why we're, actually taking the step forward and doing that today.
Well, my idea was to read some of the articles and then discuss them.
Yeah, well, I like the idea of analyzing our writers, and because there's certain limitations to the amount of space that they can write on. So we picked two articles. I don't know if we're going to get to both of them today, frankly, maybe to parts of them, but we're going to start with one of the most popular ones. You want to introduce the column that we're going to be talking about first, the Shidduch column? That's always
We're going,
great things.
yes, we will discuss the very popular Baila Sebrow's column, which discusses about dating.
Yeah, it discusses dating, and I guess I don't know. To me, being married for 46 years, I think I'm a little bit removed from the dating process. Although my kids were dating not such a long time ago, so on the other hand, I have some attachment and relevance to it. And we have grandchildren that are gonna be start dating pretty soon. I guess in the
God
next
willing.
one or 2 years. So you want to start by reading the question from Bela? You have that in
Sure.
front of you?
Yes, I do. Okay,
Go
here
ahead.
goes. I went out with a guy and everything went great. He took me to a nice restaurant for dinner. We had a great conversation and amazing chemistry while we were on the date. I was thinking that I would sure go out with him again. After we finished eating, he asked the waitress to pack up our leftovers. Then he paid the check, and as we were getting ready to leave, the waitress brought out the leftovers wrapped up in two nice containers, one for him and one for me. He immediately grabbed both, even my container. And when I gave him a weird look, he said he didn't believe in letting good food go to waste. He didn't
So
even bother to ask me if I wanted it, which he should have done. The next day, he texted me that he had a nice time and would like to go out again. I refused to go out with him, even though he wants to and everything else checks out. My mother told me I should give him another chance because guys can get like that sometimes. Do you agree with her? We're having a big fight over this.
Okay, so there's a couple of things that stand out about this. I think that requires requires an analysis. Uh, First of all, what kind of restaurant do you think they went to? They're taking out containers. My guess is that it's a Chinese restaurant, you know, and my other guess is that it's a restaurant in either Brooklyn or Borough Park because they give you such big portions that it's not humanly possible to finish those while you're sitting there. So you have to take it out. That's why they have the containers. Now, apparently, it doesn't seem to me. I mean, do you agree with that? Am I right so far?
Well, maybe.
Maybe that's pretty good. I get a maybe from you about being right. That is a very that's a lot of progress. So I suspect a Chinese restaurant, a kosher Chinese restaurant in either Brooklyn or Queens, is what I suspect. And the problem
Could
here
be
is
Muncie.
apparently
One
it could
second.
be Muncie too. Yes, could be Muncie too. You
Those are
also
big portions.
that's very very big portions. You know, it can't be the five towns. Like we discussed that already because
Right.
in the
They're
five
too
towns you get
concerned about everything.
no, in the five towns you get more plate than you get food. In Muncie and Brooklyn you get more food than you get plate. So that's a fundamental natural I would say indigenous type of fact of the matter. So there's two things that stand out to me about this question. First of all, it's not a conventional sit-up date. Okay, she doesn't mention it soften at all. And number two, he has her phone number already because he texted her the next day. Did you notice
Exactly.
that? Okay. Now, I don't get an opportunity because we have so much work to put out one issue of the newspaper. I don't get an opportunity to read these columns like this. I just read an article and I see if anything really objectionable jumps out at me that has to be, you know, excerpted from the paper. So, why do you think he took both containers? You think is he trying to say he's a cheap guy?
I would say he's frugal.
Why do you say that? He took the check. He didn't split the check with us.
First of all, they brought out two boxes. The thing that he should have done was let them give her the box. And let's say he took both boxes. He should have said to her, "Oh, is that all right?" Or else give him her box. He immediately didn't think of her, but grabbed the boxes.
Okay,
That's a sign.
and when she gave him a funny look, he said he doesn't like to see food go to waste.
When
So
she
that was
gave him
to
a
me.
funny look, that's when he should have realized. But it seems a little self centered.
But she said that he said he doesn't like to see good food go to waste. That means that if she took her food, that would be considered going to waste. Okay, I
Exactly.
mean she wasn't going to be. She's probably very very skinny, and she wasn't going to eat it. She was probably going to go
Not
home and throw it in the
necessarily.
garbage.
Even skinny people eat.
Okay, you say skinny people eat.
Yes.
Um, but so why did he say he doesn't like to see when she gave him the weird look? Why did she say what did he say that she doesn't like to see good food going to waste? So first of all,
He realized
obviously,
he did something wrong.
well, the food was good, obviously. You know,
Look,
if the food was not good, he would have let her have her ass. He would have given her both probably if the food
one
wasn't any good.
second. Let's discuss some of Baila's answer.
Okay,
You
her
know what?
advice.
Okay.
Okay.
When she gave him a weird look, that was a clear nonverbal signal demonstrating the dissatisfaction. Okay? That was nothing. Now, small behaviors reveal big patterns. It wasn't a cutlery mistake or, not pulling a chair out for her. It was a boundary moment. Your instinct picked up on something deeper. She's saying to the girl, will he consult me or decide for me? Does he consider my needs before his own?
Hmm. Okay, so I know I didn't really read her answer, so I know you read it.
I
I
read it.
usually don't. I usually don't read her answer because they're usually
There's
very.
such a thing as a red flag. And when you
You think
date,
so?
and I get the impression they're older.
Uh-huh. Hmm. Uh-huh. I know something. So she says that many women who ignore these early signals later say, "I knew something felt off. I just told myself I was being too picky." You weren't being picky, Baila says. You were being perceptive. Regarding your mother's advice, he isn't wrong in general. People can have quirks, and not every misstep means wrong. But here's the key distinction. If he had said, "Oh, do you want yours?" and handed it back to you immediately, that would be a harmless quirk. If he had laughed and said, sorry, force of habit, and corrected it, that would be a self awareness too. Instead, he defended his behavior rather than adjusting it. That's the part that matters. Should you give him another chance? Well, should you give him another chance? I would say he should, she should give him another chance, but they shouldn't go to a restaurant, in my estimation. Maybe they can
I
go
think
for
it's good that I think it's good that you're not in the shut up initiative.
And I
Um,
think, well, another thing is they should go out on a fast date. They should go out on Sorbatavus or Tinus Esta, so,
or they should have done what we did on our first date. You ordered one dish and we shared.
oh, so you thought I was being frugal by doing that?
I thought you were being very understanding.
What,
You
that you
knew
don't
I
eat?
didn't want my own meal.
Well, you weren't gonna order anyway.
Exactly.
Okay, so that is
Okay,
quite
one other
deceiving to me.
thing.
Yes, one other thing I want to point down.
Okay, on early dates, people are usually most careful, most attentive, and most eager to make a good impression.
Right.
These early interactions are not a throwaway moments, they are data points. They show how someone moves through the world when they are trying, when someone overlooks your needs in a small everyday situation. It naturally raises the question, what happens during bigger ones?
Well, I think that overall, taking a broader view of the entire thing, this is one large piece of nonsense. If you're gonna pick apart every little thing in life. You know, what happens if the guy sneezes and doesn't have a tissue? Does that mean it's off? You know, what do you do?
That's an
Uh,
act of God.
Oh,
Please.
so that's exempt from for any of the rules.
Oh,
But on
Lord.
the one hand, you're picking apart every little emotion. Now, I think that definitely, I don't want to belabor this, but I want to get to our next topic. But I think that him taking both packages of both their leftover meals shows that amount of not he's not considerate. I think he assumes
Exactly.
he assumed she didn't want it. He assumed she was going to dispose of it, or I don't know. I thought maybe originally he didn't like her. So that was another way of saying that I don't want to see good food go to waste, which means that if you eat it, it's going to be like it's going to waste. So have a nice night and have a good life and goodbye. But then he
Apparently, it
texted her.
wasn't that.
No, I suspect
Okay.
that maybe he,
Do you
maybe
know?
he, maybe he, maybe he ate the food already, and it
Listen,
reminded him of how nice the date was.
um, this is what I think. Okay. If it's an older couple, let's say, all right,
Yeah. Okay.
and he texted her. If she was a mature adult, she should say, we had a great date and I would have liked to see you again and I may see you again, but there is something on my mind And if you
Yeah,
want to just, and let's discuss it.
I want my food back.
No, not I want my food back.
It's like Inigo Montoya in The Princess Bride. I want my
You
father
killed
back.
my father. Prepare to die.
That's really getting too serious. That's getting too serious.
I got the last line in. Okay, listen, and really, seriously, if she
Yeah, I'm
really had
listening.
a good date and everything else worked out, and this is what bothered her, and rightfully so, it could be a misstep on his part. I really think she should go out again.
Let's go to the next topic, which is the column that I wrote that's going to appear in the newspaper dated January 9th, which will be out, and of course, and it'll be on the website. Let me just say on the previous topic, if you want to add your 2 cents or comment on the conversation about that date and what the proper thing to do is, you should write us. You can either comment here on YouTube, where it's going to be posted at some point, or you could write to me at editor@5tjt.com. That's editor. Most people know how to spell it, except if someone calls me from my credit card company in the Philippines. I have to spell the whole thing out to them very, very slowly. Editor at the number five, and that doesn't mean you have to write the number five. I mean just five. You don't have to write FIVE. Editor at 5TJT. Five, the
T
number
as in
five,
Tom,
J as in
J as
John,
in Jewish,
and
T
T
as
as in
in
Tom, and
Tom.
Tom. Okay, but you don't have to write the number five. I'm saying five. Okay, so editor at 5TJT. You could do that. Okay, so we're switching topics in the last 10 minutes of this program.
Fine.
A column that I wrote. It's called Free Venezuela. Okay, it's a serious column, but it's a spoof on Free Palestine.
But it's a play on words, free Palestine.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the amount of times this has been going on, but Free Palestine has a certain ring to it and has like a natural cadence to it. Free Venezuela has a problem right off the bat.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
like I wrote in the column, there's an alliteration problem here. You got to be able to, uh, uh, economize on the amount of words. Um, but I do say that in the very opening paragraph, it just does not have the same rhythm, or at least not yet anyway. After the U.S. Delta Force captured the arch dictator and narco terrorist Nicolas Maduro, almost immediately people in the New York area took to Times Square to protest the arrest. It was a big 180-degree turnaround for them. All the Free Palestine signs had to be packed away to make room on the streets for the Free Venezuela and Free Maduro signs. Like the florists at the areas of mass shootings around the country, the sign makers seem to be doing fairly well too. Okay, unfortunately, when there's a mass shooting, and you know it, you've watched the news with me for many decades, I can't help but comment when the flowers start showing up. That rows and rows of flowers. And I think of the guy that has one of those bodegas, and he sells flowers on the outside, and he sells out
Candles. The
immediately.
bodegas sell candles.
Candles and flowers too. So anyway, there's a problem here with the free Venezuela signs, and it's also a problem that it's not good alliteration, doesn't fit into the same,
We'll have to pick
uh,
another one.
doesn't
I'd
doesn't
like to say something about the protesters, though.
sure.
Most of them didn't speak Spanish. These were paid protesters like we had all the past 2 years. There are Venezuelans across the street saying how excited they were that he was arrested, and they realized the people that were protesting didn't speak Spanish. So take that.
So they weren't from Venezuela, you're saying.
No, they weren't.
These are paid protesters. They're paid by the George Soros group. I heard this about the time that there was a a Nefesh B'Nefesh Israel real estate show in one of the shuls in the five towns, and there were Palestinian flag rioters, a small group, but one of the people told me that they're paid $200 to show up to a protest, and the person that organizes the protest is paid $500. So, if you could manage to squeeze in 3 or 4 protests a day, you can make a decent living. It's not such bad work if you can get it.
Is it
It's,
tax deductible?
I don't know if it's tax deductible, but it's better than driving an Uber. You know, what are you going to drive an Uber for? Okay, now most of the Democrat, most of so the one of the quirks. I don't know if it's in this column or not, but one of the quirky things here is that during the first Trump administration, the Biden, the Democrats were criticizing Trump for not doing anything about Maduro. Of course, he was a dictator. He was exporting drugs that was killing Americans, and then when Biden came into office, they established a $25 million reward for the capture of Maduro. And then when Trump became president again, as you know, last week he caught Maduro. And now Maduro is Brooklyn. He's in Brooklyn in the Metropolitan Correctional Facility in Brooklyn. And it's no irony that Trump brought him into Brooklyn, where Zoran Mandami is the mayor, because no
Too
question about
socialist.
no question that Maduro is one of Mandani's heroes. Now, this is going to schlep on for a long time. There was some talk about Trump wanting to move the trial to Miami, where they'll get a better jury, instead of keeping him in New York. But it's an interesting sign that he has him in New York, in Mandami country. So,
Who gets the
this is a,
25 million?
well, obviously, it would seem that Trump should get the 25 million, right?
And he should put it towards a new ballroom.
Yeah, but they also say, I heard someone say the other night that they think the members of the Delta Force that went in to capture them, just put the $25 million.
Good
Maybe it's
idea.
50 guys, maybe it's 50 guys, maybe it's 100 guys. And if you split $25 million amongst them, that's a very good gesture, I think. Trump doesn't need the money, but like you said, he needs the money to build a ballroom. Um, Now, also mentioned in the column that the free Maduro and free Venezuela people are the same ones that are at the Free Palestine rallies. It's not different. These are professional protesters. The problem is that people, the average person, is fooled by these things. They're deceived into thinking that these are people that are genuinely protesting because an injustice has been committed. First of all, there was an indictment against Maduro in 2020, so he's been a wanted man for 5 years. So, just what you do to a wanted man, you capture him under any circumstances, and that's what Trump did. Now they say they violated international law, and then Mamdani says that he spoke to the president on Saturday morning. I don't think that he spoke to the president. You think
I
Trump
don't
has
think he
time to
took his
speak to him?
call.
I don't know. He says I spoke to the president directly. He says. I don't know. I don't know if that was the case. I can't imagine that Trump is going to give him the type of coverage and respect that he that comes with having the president of the United States take your call. Anyway, so that column happens to be in in the Five Towns Jewish Times of the week of January 9th. So if you missed it, if you're seeing this after January 9th, you can always go onto our website, 5tjt.com, where you could see this entire podcast. And you can also see the past editions of the newspaper. So you can read all these columns about what Baila Sebrow produces. It produces, just go back for a minute. There's a lot of weird stuff going on out there, And I always think to myself, you have to thank God that at the end of the day, you can come home and lock your doors and your windows and make sure nobody can get in, and live your life without these weirdos out there unfortunately, are turning into the majority in not just in our community, but in the world in general.
in the world.
Uh, a final comment on anything before we conclude
Well, I'd like to hear your take.
on.
You know that on Baila Sebrow's column. Should they go out again or shouldn't they?
I said they should go out again. I think.
Yeah, well,
I think.
you're being a little cute.
Well, I think they should go to a. I said they shouldn't go to a restaurant. Go to a.
That's what I meant.
If they go to a movie if they're
Okay.
more so-called modern orthodox, go to a movie, but just don't buy any popcorn
You don't go
because
to movies anyway because you want to get to know each other. I think you do go to restaurants. On the Mandoro article, um, I I think our biggest problem is the Republicans don't react the way the Democrats do. In any other world, nobody would be protesting this, and the Democrats, they are made out of different stuff. They'll come after Trump. If Trump came up with a cure for cancer, they come out after him. So what do we do now?
Well, listen, there's a big problem. The country has a big problem. The first year of the Trump administration is almost behind us. January 20th will be the first anniversary of his new administration. And he has a year to go till the midterm elections. And he said it yesterday. He was talking to
Yeah,
a
he'll be
gathering of
impeached.
Republican congressmen. He said definitely he's going to be impeached if the Republicans do not win the majority. And it's very, very difficult to envision that. They dropped by 2 seats this week. What's her name?
MJ,
Green,
MJ
MTJ,
Nuts. Yeah,
MTJ, the
MTJ. Yeah.
the wacko right wing crazy dropped out, but she
Uh
was a
huh.
vote. And then another Republican, I don't have his name in front of me now. He died. He dropped dead at 65. I don't know the guy's name, but they lost 2 seats. But listen, we can go on forever discussing how the Republicans should go about maintaining the majority. On Long Island, they could do it. They could add a couple of seats. And there's been redistricting in places like Texas
Texas.
and other areas,
I think
part
it's
of
Florida.
California, I think. Also, they're going to do some redistricting in Florida. It's an unfair game, but both parties do it. When the Democrats are in power, they change everything around. They move everything around so that everybody is in a district that's more disposed towards voting for Democrats. So now the Republicans are doing the same thing. They shouldn't be blamed for doing it. The Democrats they yell bloody hell, but that's the end of that. So one more thing about speaking about the Congress and the midterm elections, you have two Jews running against one another in Brooklyn. You have Brad Lander running against Dan Goldman, two Jewish boys.
Greenlander, who
Okay.
hates Israel, and Jan Goldman, who hates Trump but is pro-Israel. So who do you
Yeah,
think? Who do you think Mamdani's going to endorse?
I think he already endorsed Brad Lander.
Lander.
Of course, Brad Lander. Okay, so you know that's going to be a tough race. The thing about the district, his district, by the way, is like around Prospect Park, around Park Slope. A lot of very leftist, liberal types live around there, uh, and uh, and it's important to note that Zoran Mandami won the area by a very large margin. So it seems more likely than not that you're going to have Brett Lander in Congress representing that area as a democratic socialist for America. And there's only one more hope, talking about politics, and we'll pick this up at another time. There's only one. I believe that at some point Mandami is going to put up.
Self-employed.
He's gonna put someone up to run against Kathy Hochul, another someone that's more extremely to the left, will run against Hochul, which will give
Oh,
Bruce
then,
Blakeman a better opportunity at winning. And Bruce is very strong in Long Island, And even if he doesn't win, he'll be able to drag in a couple of the Republicans, like Mike LaPetrie, who's running against Tom Suozzi, and also for the Laura Gellin seat. So unclear who's going to be running, probably Anthony D'Esposito. But there is very intricate science to the whole process, which ends up, determining the direction that the country is going to take going forward. Anyway, that's the end of this inaugural podcast. Esther Gordon and Larry Gordon coming to you from our Florida studios, uh, the southern area of the Five Towns Jewish Times, and we hope to come up with some ideas to share with you again very soon. Remember, if you want to reach us or comment, you can comment below in YouTube, or you can let us at editor at 5tjt.com. And I already explained how to write that out, so I'm not going to repeat it. So thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Esther. Thank you for contributing,
Thank you.
and have a good day, everyone.